Hi, my name is Marjorie. I want to tell you a little bit about mothering and disability. So first of all, I think what's important for everyone to know is that when I was about 20, this is when I met my first mom with an intellectual disabilities. And for me, it was very significant. I'll call her Julie. So Julie was a mother of two beautiful, rambunctious kids, a daughter and a son. And I was supporting her daughter in camp to include her and integrate her into camp. And when I saw Julie and how hard she worked to make sure that these two kids were well fed, well dressed, and that she followed all the rules of camp, I was impressed. And I think that the day that I met Julie actually is the day that I knew that my career was going to be working with parents with intellectual disabilities. She was so inspirational. I was doing my thing and working and advocating for parents when I became a mom. And then when my son was 16 months old, I had a car accident. And so I became a mom with a disability, with a physical disability, because I acquired a spinal cord injury. And I think that that was also very significant for me in terms of realizing the pressure that we all have as parents, but that when you have a disability on top of being a parent, you have doubly or triple the pressure. And the pressure, I felt it from the get-go. I was in the hospital, in my hospital room, just a few days after my accident. And right away, my instinct, my protective instinct was, oh no, child welfare is going to come. And what am I going to tell them? They're going to ask, how are you going to raise him? You're a single parent. Who's going to take care of him if you can't get up or if you get sick? And so I started making a list of all the concerns that child welfare could have. And I started making an intervention plan for each of those concerns. Because to me, it was like, I wanted to be a mom so bad that I needed to be prepared just in case someone would argue that I wouldn't be able to parent my child any longer. And that was very scary. Yeah. Those were probably the scariest moments in my life. When I thought that because of an accident, maybe I wouldn't be considered as a good parent, even though my intentions are good, even though I have my ideas and my dreams of how I want to raise my son. And I wanted to raise him. I didn't want somebody else to do that for me. He was my son. He is my son. I got lucky because I have a family that's very close and very loving. We support one another. We respect one another. And I was born into a family, with my dad and my mom who, for them, loving their children definitely came first on top of anything else. And so when that happened, they took over. They moved in my house. They took care of my things. They managed my house. They took care of my son, taking care of him, as if he was their own, while still making sure that he didn't forget that they were grandma and grandpa and not mom and dad. And I think that was very, very important for me because they didn't try to steal my role. They tried to empower me in my role, which is the most beautiful gift anyone can give someone else. And so, they would bring him every day after his nap and he would spend time with me alone. in his high chair so that he could learn that mom could take care of him just like grandma and grandpa. And we had iPads linked to Wi-Fi. And so, every night I could read to him. I could see him take his bath. I could tell him, his sweet dreams. And every morning I could have breakfast with him because we were connected through FaceTime or Skype or, basically technology really had a huge impact in terms of me getting or staying connected with him. I saw him make his first snowman. I was basically involved in all the activities, even though I wasn't physically there. We had to sort of determine a way to make him understand that mom was back home, and so he needed to ask me and not grandma or grandpa. So the way we did it was that we made sentences very, very long. So when he would ask grandma for something, grandma would say, oh yeah, you want some cheese. Thomas wants some cheese. Yeah, but there is somebody who, we should ask for that. It's not grandma though. Oh yeah, I know, it's mommy. Okay, so then she would turn to me and she would say, Mommy, do you think that Thomas can have a piece of cheese? And anyways, by the time that he got the answer back, well, Thomas sort of learned that it was much easier to go straight to mommy. And that was like an amazing way of doing it. We also often say that kids who are born or raised within a family where there's disability, have less advantage. Or that maybe, it's going to be to their detriment in terms of their development. What I've seen in my families, I've seen very resilient kids. What I see in my family with Thomas is that he has developed some strengths that are beyond. And one of them is creativity. He's built, wheelchairs in Lego to show sort of accessibility and to make sure that his play reflected his life. He has a sense of fairness and justice that's heightened because he can see all the places that's not accessible. And he's advocated for me in the past and advocated for himself too. What I would love to see happen in the future, I would love to see that disability is not seen as something that's less than. I would love to see disability seen as something that is different, period. We don't need to add anything else to that sentence. I'm different. We're all different. We can be different in terms of all our cultural background. We could be different in terms of our values. We could be different in many different ways. And disability is just one of them. But if we made society as a whole universally accessible, then disability wouldn't need to be less, because it would just be different but still able. Because if my environment is accessible and inclusive, then I am as able as anyone else.